So we've got our first mission. I was going to read the Shadowland BBS, wasn't I? Relevant keywords. Missed connections. You, rappelling down the side of an unnamed luxury hotel in a ball gown on Monday night. Me, admiring the view from the 28th floor urinals during a private soiree for an unnamed corporation that I was infiltrating. Our eyes met briefly before you dropped out of sight. Your long dark hair had come loose from your chignon, framing your beautiful fleshed face. I'll never forget it. You were carrying a duffel bag bulging with stolen prototype weaponry. Well, I filched the intel that goes with it. Can we connect? Blackjack. Very funny, Blackjack. I'm sorry the job went sideways. I got trapped and had only one way out. Red Queen. We were supposed to have each other's backs. Just wait till you hear the way out that I had to take. We gotta lay low for now. And why are we posting about this on a public message board? Oh, you rascals. Terrorists in Hong Kong. Been hearing some buzz about some mainlander terrorists that showed up in Victoria Harbour and had a shootout with the HKPF the other day. Anyone heard anything about that? Ming Pao said there were 4 of them that got away. 1 troll, 2 orcs, and a dwarf. A troll, an elf, and a human were all killed on the scene. Word is that they're members of the White Star out of Henan, coming here to start trouble against the Executive Council. Looks like there's a 50,000 million reward for any information leading to their capture. The HKPF seems pretty nervous about letting these bastards walk freely around the streets. You think they'd actually pay out to somebody like us? Not a chance. You walk in there to claim the rewards, you're getting thrown in a hole with them. The HKPF doesn't keep promises to the sinless. Couldn't hurt to try. Why'd you have to be such a downer? Because I know the police. They're all dirty. They're only in on it to protect their paychecks, and they don't give a damn about anyone else. Believe me, I'm just looking out for your best interests. Like you and your triad looked out for my brother? You know he's still paying for his reconstructive surgery, you bastard. If a man wants to keep his teeth, he should pay what he owes rather than pull a gun on me. Simple as that. Oh, a poetry slam. Ladies and gentlemen, poets and Shadowrunners, welcome to the first annual Shadowland Poetry Slam. There are no rules, and there are no prizes except bragging rights. With no further ado, let the versification begin. How long do you think we can keep this going before the trolls show up or a sysadmin shuts us down? Why would they shut us down? It's a free board. We can be poetic if we want to. Just trust me, it happens. For some reason, these things always draw the worst sort of attention. Are you going to give us a poem, or are you going to stand around complaining about why you can't? Alright, I've got one. Wait for it. Synth muscle, smart links, neural boosters, cyber limbs, and all Faldi grenades. A little musing on the transience of life in the shadows. Very nice, sir. When the long shadows fall on Hong Kong, neon lights pierce the coming night. Tread with me the velvet blackness. Let no lamp shine on our deeds. That one's entitled Our Hour. That might have just been the most pompous thing I've ever read. Try this on for size. Lasers are red, shadows are black. With Matt on the street, you'd best watch your back. Now you mad. My poem wasn't pompous, you uncultivated rube. It was homage to Wang Wei, the famous Tang Dynasty master of the Juju form of poetry. It's traditional, unlike that ridiculous limerick you posted. Now, I don't think you have to take the word slam quite so literally. Hey, you people know the rules. Poetry slams have been out of bounds on this BBS since the Laughing Man debacle of 55. If you want to sling your fancy words, do it on a different forum. I'm shutting this thread down. Told you. Walled City, that was us. I've got a courier job next week that's supposed to take me to the Walled City. I'm from Kuala Lumpur and I've never been to Hong Kong, but I hear the place is dangerous as hell. Is there anything I should know? Oh, you've got nothing to worry about. It's just a low-cost housing development full of hardworking people. Here, take a look at this news report. A short trid clip begins playing. This is Sunny Cheng with Horizon News. On today's sunny side up, the Kowloon Walled City, a blight on the free enterprise zone, or low-cost housing for the economically disadvantaged. We'll introduce you to some of the hard-working residents, how they live, and how they contribute to the growth and prosperity of our city. A montage sequence begins, showcasing the destitute poor of the Walled City going about their daily lives. The shots have been carefully chosen, showing only smiling and productive residents, a stark contrast to your own experience inside it. Many residents of Hong Kong regard the Walled City as a place of no return. To outsiders, it's the last stop on a long road to homelessness. Rumors abound of feral ghouls, unsafe living conditions, and triad extortion. Yet when we went there, the reality was far different. What we saw will shock you. Citizens of Hong Kong working and living just like the rest of us. Their apartments are smaller and their shops more modest, but the people who live here couldn't be out of place anywhere in the free economic zone. Citizens like shoemaker Chow Sang-sui. The scene cuts to an elderly man in a closet-sized stall filled with shoemaking equipment. He smiles broadly at the camera. Oh, I love it here. We have a community, you know. We're like a family. Maybe we don't have as nice a view as they do in Repulse Bay, but I can't imagine living anywhere else. It's not paradise, no. But it's my home. I grew up here. How could I possibly leave? The camera shifts back to Sunny Chung, who now stands in front of one of the entrances to the Walled City. Contrary to popular opinion, the Walled City serves a vital function. The poor and downtrodden find a home in the Walled City, a community where they have a voice, can work, and even prosper, far from being the eyesore that the video suddenly stutters, freezes, and ends. Okay, I've decided to cut the rest of that crap. She keeps going on about what a good place the Walled City is, and how we all need it. Don't buy any of it. It may not be hell, but you can see it from there. Freedom Cowboy's just trying to get you in trouble. Ooh, that's Isabel. So how do you know the real story? Because I grew up there. You know what it's really like? It's eating old broth made from rat bones because there's nothing else. It's watching your neighbors sell their 5-year-old son to organ leggers so they don't starve to death. When you die in the Walled City, your neighbors cheer because they'll get the clothes off your back. I wouldn't wish the Walled City on my worst enemy. That was the whole Shadowland BBS. We have a job, which I completely forgot what it is. Right, Wampo, a serial killer. Does anybody want to talk? Well, hello, Duncan. You and me are going to be best buds forever and ever. Wu's cabin appears to be the only clean spot on Bolt Hole. His equipment is neatly laid out in his bedding, grouped by type, arranged just so. He is cleaning his weapon with meticulous care. Well, that's that, I guess. We're runners now. Think it's time to catch up? Could be. He stops for a moment and stares at his weapon in his hand. That's why I'm maintaining my equipment. It helps me focus my brain. Work through stuff. He sighs, lowers the rifle. Now's as good a time as any, I guess. Where do you want to start? Oh, you had a dream too, right? Yeah, you sounded like a nasty one. I don't remember much about mine. I was pretty creeped out by our run in the Walled City. Between that and the drama, I'd be surprised if I didn't have a nightmare. Was the Walled City in your dream? Of course the Walled City was in my dream. It was a nightmare, wasn't it? Was it in your dream too? The slums start to look alike after a while, right? They may look similar, but the Walled City felt different, Phineas. Thick, heavy, and overwhelmed by, I don't know, wretchedness, I guess. Whatever, it was the Walled City in my dream for sure. What do you remember about yours? Just little snatches of things. He puts his hands on his hips and concentrates. The Walled City was breathing, and it had teeth everywhere. And there was a tunnel that was so bright that I had to shut my eyes. And Raymond was there. He was either kneeling or lying down. I can't remember which, but he was crying. That's what made me wake up. The sound of my father crying. Did it feel any different from other nightmares you've had? He takes his time, thinks about his answer a bit before responding. You know how sometimes you'll be mad at a friend in a dream and then wake up and still be bad at him? Then you treat him like you did something wrong when you see him? Kind of feels like that to me. Like I dreamed I was swimming towards a bright light, and when I woke up, I was out of breath from the effort. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about Raymond. What do you think's going on? I don't know, Phineas. He was clearly obsessed with the Walled City and whatever prosperity is. Sounds like a sleepwalker trying to stumble his way through a dream or something. Sleepwalker who hires Shadowrunners. Well, whatever he was doing, he knew it would be dangerous. Raymond was smart as hell. If he thought he needed runners to take him into that place, he needed them. Why do you think he came to Hong Kong? Well, he's from here, right? Sounds like he had unfinished business that he needed to take care of before. You think he's dying? Maybe. Did he say anything about me after I left? You know Raymond, Phineas. He taught us what he wanted to teach us, told us what he wanted to know, what he wanted us to know. Everything else was met with a wall of good-natured silence. He used to say, "You are the master of the unspoken word, Mr. Wu. Once it's out of your mouth, it's out of your control." So no, after you left, he never said a word about you. Something else? Let's talk about being Shadowrunners. What's there to say? I worked my ass off to pull myself out of the gutter and make something in my life. I did what it took to earn my bronze. And now I'm a mercenary hiding in the shadows of a foreign country doing dirty jobs that the corps need to keep off their books. It's the reverse of everything I ever wanted. You seem to be taking it pretty damn well, so let me ask you something. You said this was all about running the shadows until we find out who killed Raymond, then it's about payback. Was that true? That's what I just told kindly. Then what's the real reason? Wait, isn't that what I said the real reason wasn't? Actually, that was the real reason. You know I don't have anything back home. This is as good a life as any, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's true. Holy shit, Phineas, you did some time. Shakes his head. Well, I get that you have nothing back home, but this is all about Raymond for me. I need to understand what happened to him and who's responsible. What's your opinion of Kindly Chang? I'd say she's got us right where she wants us, right under her thumb. What do you want to talk about specifically? What do you think she wants from us? As long as her network keeps delivering information about Raymond, I don't care. At least for now. We need to stay with her. We have no other connections in Hong Kong. Without her, we're dead in the water. Think we can trust her? A triad boss, an underground fixer? No, I don't think we can trust her. But as long as we all share the same goals, we should be okay. Makes sense. As long as we serve her interests, she doesn't have a reason to screw us over. It's simple. She provides jobs, we do jobs. She gets info about Raymond and that plastic-faced man, and we figure out what the hell's going on. We figure out what's going on, she doesn't end up in the trunk of a car at the bottom of a river. Everybody wins. What's this about the plastic-faced man? Creepy dudes are nothing new to me, even well-dressed, creepy corporate dudes. Between the gangers we grew up with and the shit I've run into as a cop, I've seen all kinds. I just want to know who he is and who he works for. We should keep an eye on Strangler Bao. We should keep an eye on everybody, and that guy's definitely no exception. I've seen plenty of cold killers in the Barrens and plenty more since I joined Lone Star. This guy's the real deal. I'm not sure if he knows what the word remorse even means. You should steer clear of him. Screw that guy. I'm just trying to watch your back, since you don't appear to be doing a very good job of it. Let's talk about something else. Gobbet and Isabel. They seem competent considering how young they are, but then again they sound like they've been taking care of themselves since they were pretty young. The three of us work together well in the Walled City. Based on that, I'd bet the four of us would make a solid crew. Do you trust them? As far as I trust any runner, yeah. It's like Raymond used to say, trust and verify. They haven't given me a reason not to trust them, so until they do, I'll believe what they say and keep my eyes open. Let's talk later. Later's good. I want to do some cardio, work off some steam. Then it's rack time for me. You should do the same, Phineas. A couple hundred push-ups would do you good. I could bust out 200 in my sleep. I'd love to see that sometime, but for now you should clear out. I want to get started, and this cabin isn't big enough for two. Calm the fuck down, brother. Little one. Isabel's cabin is an exercise in controlled chaos. Her living space is utterly dominated by an enormous jury-rigged computer. Serpentine cables snake from component to component, tying dozens of obsolete terminals and cyberdecks together into a single colossal machine. This is my personal machine. If you're looking for your mission computer, it's downstairs. She doesn't bother looking up. You can see that she's elbow deep in the guts of an obsolete cyberdeck, one of a half dozen that have been wired into her computer with braided cables. I was hoping to talk to you? There's a long pause, then she chirps out a response. We're talking now, aren't we? You want questions? Go ahead. I'm not stopping you. Have you been having weird dreams recently? Her body goes still. Yes, I think that everybody has. I've been having horrible nightmares. I know, it happens more often than you'd think. She tilts her head in the direction of the Walled City. This kind of mass psychosis was common where I grew up. Everybody got it. Mass psychosis seems more like a magical phenomenon. Her voice quickens. I don't really know what it is, and I don't think I want to. I just want to work on my computer in peace. Want to tell me about your wacky computer? She's my pet project. I call her the Octopus. She waves a hand at the tangle of thick power cables that radiate out from the machine's central core. You might be able to guess why. Did you do this yourself? Uh-huh. She yanks a fried chip from the deck's motherboard and neatly sets it aside, then fumbles in a nearby bin for a replacement. I had to make do with whatever I could find as a kid. Taught me a lot about being self-sufficient. What's this made out of? Whatever I could find. Busted terminals, obsolete cyberdecks, aftermarket memory from Maximum Law's dumpster. Scavengers would kill for this stuff in the Walled City, but out here people throw it away. She chuckles to herself as she eases a card into an empty expansion slot. Most deckers are early adopters. They buy whatever's newest, shell out huge amounts of new in hopes of riding the bleeding edge. Stupid. Why? Because I can have 5 of last year's model for a quarter of the price that was new cyberdeck. And after I finish daisy chaining them together, the machine that I built will run circles around your hot new deck. You need a flatbed truck to carry it. Do we look like we're hurting for space to you? She rummages in a bin to her left and pulls out a stick of solid-state memory. It disappears into the deck she's working on. I've got a whole boat to work with. Your cabin included if I told Gobbet I needed it. I wouldn't mind. Huh. Well, I was joking, but if you're really okay with it, I might someday. We'll see. Can we talk about Victoria Harbor? I'd rather not. I lost friends there. Duncan and I didn't come into the attack either. Or unscathed either. They shot Carter down, same as your friends. Was she your friend? You didn't seem that close. She turns her attention to the octopus, turning her back on you. Tell me something about yourself. Something? Okay, I don't like small talk. Does that count? Tells me you don't want to be social. Look, it's nothing personal. I just don't think that I'm a very interesting person. Sorry if that disappoints you. You don't like talking about things other than your computer very much, do you? I prefer not to. Nothing personal. It's just the way that I am. There's nothing wrong with that. I just want to know who I'm running with, don't you? Yeah, you're still a mystery. I don't like mysteries, but I do enjoy solving them. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you a question, something personal. After you've given me an answer, you get to ask me something. Think of it like a game of questions. We take turns until one of us wants to quit. Deal? Deal! We'll start off easy. Tell me what you really think about Duncan. He's a pain in the ass, but he's like a brother to me. Interesting. Her eyes flit to the doorway to Gobbet's cabin. The corner of her mouth tilts upward into a slight smile. And a little familiar. Well, you've answered my question. I guess that makes it your turn. How'd you meet Gobbet? Her brow furrows, and after a moment she screws her eyes shut. We met as kids in the Walled City. My prison was her playground. I'm sorry if that was uncomfortable. No, it's not that. It's fine. She shifts her gaze to the octopus. I just have a hard time remembering those days. My childhood is kind of a blur. And that would make it my turn. So tell me, what was your connection to Raymond Black? He was my benefactor and mentor. I respected him. In that case, my condolences. It's always difficult to lose someone who you respect. Your turn. Ask me a question. I'll give you an answer. Where'd you learn how to deck? The Wampoa. I lived there for a while after escaping the Walled City. The people there were difficult. We didn't get along, but it was a great place to learn. And that brings us back to my turn. She gestures at the cabin walls around you. You enjoy it, don't you, living like this, working the shadows? This is what I was born to do. She nods slowly. I knew it. I could read it all over you. Your turn again. Go ahead and ask me something. How long have you been running the shadows with Gobbet? That's a good question. I guess about 4 years now. A decent stretch by anyone's reckoning. My turn again. And I think my last question for you. You're stuck here, marooned. You and Duncan both. He's obviously unhappy with the situation. He keeps going on about the things I left behind. But what about you? Is there anything that you want to get back to? My friends, my career. Nothing worth mentioning. Nothing? There isn't anything about your old life that you'll miss? I don't know whether to envy you or feel sorry for you. She glances down at the clock on her desk. An antique model with physical hands that looks like it was wrenched out of a submarine. A frown spreads across her face. Shit, it's even later than I thought, and I've still got a long way to go before the octopus is fixed. She begins to turn away, her attention fixed on the stack of partially disassembled cyberdecks right in front of her. You owe me another question. That's true, go ahead. Of course it's the most awkward question. Tell me about the Walled City. Why? Because Raymond Black wanted me to go in there, and somebody destroyed my life to keep him from doing that. Her cheeks flush, just like they did last time. She averts her eyes. No, I'm sorry, but... No. Maybe next time. Please excuse me, I have work to do. Let's go talk to Rachel Rat. Gobbet's nest is pretty much what you'd expect. A pile of clothes on the ground. An overflowing garbage bin surrounded by stacks of instant noodle packets and towers of tinned oysters. Avant-garde posters haphazardly thumbtacked to the walls, overlapping in some places and peeling in others. Feels a lot like an old art school dorm room. Gobbet reclines in a corner, cradling a bowl of soup in her hands. At her feet, a cast-iron pot simmers away on an electric hot plate. The contents are typical Hong Kong comfort food. Chicken-style soy broth, elbow macaroni, tinned ham, and a heaping scoop of egg-flavored mycoprotein. As you wind your way through the piles of dirty laundry, Gobbet slowly lifts her head from her bowl to acknowledge you. Hey, Seattle. She chews on the words along with a mouthful of cheap pasta. A corner of her mouth curls up into a half-smile. How's Trix? Things have been better. Things have been worse. That's the attitude. Very stoic, very strong. It's downright inspiring. She skims an oily slab of faux ham off the top of her soup and pops it into her mouth. Now, you want to tell me what you're doing in my bedroom? I'm assuming you're not here to admire the view. Why is your name Gobbet? I didn't. She pops a noodle into her mouth and chews. My mom did. You aren't using a street name? Isn't that dangerous for a Shadowrunner? Not really, I'm sinless. There's no electronic record of a girl named Gobbet even existing. The only thing that could really threaten me would be, say the HKPF attaching an APB to whatever file they do have on me. That would be terrifying. Sorry. It is what it is. You have any nightmares? Her jaw stops working mid-chew. Yeah, I have. We all have. Everyone in town. Me too, and Isabel. We both just had the same nightmare. Let me guess, you saw the walled city and black whirlpool and teeth? Thousands of teeth? She holds up a hand. You don't need to answer. I already know that I'm right because I just had the same dream. Creepy, I know. Her voice goes quiet. The dreams are coming from inside the walled city. I'm sure of it. All of the negative energy pent up in there, all that pain and anger and poisonous ki, it's leaking out. And while we sleep, it's getting into us. If you're so sure of that, why stay in Kowloon? Why not pick up and leave? Oh, I was planning on it, but now with the APB in place, Auntie Cheng is the only thing standing between us and a bullet in the head. Believe me, I'd leave if I could, but I'm a lot more frightened of the HKPF than I am of a few bad dreams. At least the dreams can't hurt us, right? I'm glad that one of us isn't terrified by it. Fucking, I'm not terrified, if you say so. She tries on a smile, fails. Does her best to laugh it off. Don't worry, Seattle, we're fine here. But let's talk about something else, huh? I don't like thinking about the walled city very much. Too many old fears and bad feelings. I wanted to go over the ambush back on the docks with you. Yeah, I figured it would. That was a hell of a thing, right? I'd go a little further than that. It was a clusterfuck of epic proportions. Yeah, it was. Nightjar and Gunshot were two of the strongest men I've ever known. Quality Shadowrunners, both of them. I've watched those two fight through situations that'd kill anyone and come out on top. And how do they go out? She mimics holding a rifle, makes a show of peering down the scope. Bang, bang. Dead, dead. No blaze of glory, no final speech, just extinguished. Smashed like bugs. We would have gone the same way if you hadn't gotten us out of there. She absentmindedly raises her bowl to her shoulder. A rat crawls over the slope of her back and lowers its head to lap at the broth. It was more rat than me. She's the one who grabbed me by the gut and led us to that sewer entrance. All that I did was follow. What's up with your totem? She slurps thoughtfully at her soup. A clever one. She's gotten me out of more trouble than I care to mention. Got me into a fair amount of it, too. But I can always count on her to lead me out of hot water when I need her to. I can feel it in my belly, you know. Sort of a tugging sensation. I've long since learned to follow it. I'm a shaman myself. Never had my totem take an active role in leading me anywhere before. Don't feel bad about it. Me and Rat, well, we have a sort of special bond. She takes care of me, and I've always done my best to take care of her. Another pair of beady eyes blinks up at you from Gobbet's hip. A second rat scurries up her shoulder to join the first. And to spoil and pamper her earthly children like these two, meet madness and folly. Are they just normal rats? I thought they might have been spirits or something. Nope, just rats. She brushes her fingers across the white rat's mottled coat. Don't trust folly, she bites. How'd you come across these rascals? I looked outside. I mean, they're rats. Hong Kong isn't experiencing a rodent shortage or anything, so you just pick them up off the street? Yep, think of them as rescue vermin. You could probably do the same if you wanted to. It's easy. Just walk into an alleyway in Kowloon after sundown and stick your hand in the first dumpster or storm drain you come across. Keep fishing around until you touch fur. I might just have to try that. You probably shouldn't. She continues to brush Folly's coat. The creature chirps happily at her touch. Odds are about 50-50 that you get your hand chewed off. Probably feel bad about that. Do they always drink your soup? Sure, why not? We're all part of the same nest. Is that hygienic? Probably not, but I've never gotten sick, so... She raises an eyebrow, scoops a noodle out of the bowl, and pops it in her mouth with a satisfied smile. Been running the shadows for a while? Long time. Started when I was just a kid. What are you, 19? She rolls her shoulders. Something like that. Your guess is as good as mine. Doesn't change the fact that I've been doing this for years and you started yesterday. Matter of fact, Seattle, I think I'm going to make a project of you. Take you under my wing, so to speak. You need a wise mentor. Might as well be me. Sure, I could use the advice. I don't see Isabel volunteering for the job anytime soon. You're in? Good. Starting the next time you visit, I'm going to teach you all about being a Shadowrunner. She stifles a yawn. You're going to benefit from my bountiful experience. Wait and see. Whatever you say. Gobbet stretches, stifles a yawn. Her rats scurry from her shoulders down to her hips. She taps the simmering pot on the floor with her boot. The soup inside is reduced down to a thick, viscous gravy. You know, Seattle, this has been a nice chat and all, but it's getting late, and I still have the rest of a hot pot to power through. So, without wanting this to get awkward... Alright, I'll go. Yep, see ya.